Hello everyone, thank you for stopping by. So today I decided to share a video with you that is a little bit different from what I'm used to sharing. Now a while back I was reading a children's story called The Story of the Three Trees. It is a modern folk tale, and I thought it was so beautiful with such an inspirational message that I wanted to share it with you. And even though it is a children's story, I thought adults would enjoy reading it just as much. And you can't purchase a book online, okay? But before I do that, I want to welcome all of you. And if this is your first time visiting with us, please consider subscribing. Share our video if you think someone will get something from it. Hit the notification bell. Like our video. And all that good stuff, okay? So, all right, let's see how I do with this because I've never done this before. So, once upon a time, there were three little trees growing on a hillside, and each one of them had their own dreams of being something big. So, the first little tree, all he wanted to do was to be a beautiful treasure chest so that he could hold precious stones, precious jewels in it. And the second little tree, when he would look out at the running river, all he could think of is one day being a big sailing ship, sailing the oceans so that he could carry important people, kings and people of power, okay? But the third little tree, he didn't want any of that. He was perfectly happy, standing tall at the top of the hill. And all he wanted was for people, when they went up to him, he wanted people to look up at the very top and seeing God. So time went by, and it seemed like their dreams were never going to come true. And one day, three woodcutters showed up. Now, the first woodcutter chopped the first little tree down and carted it off to the lumber yard. And the second little tree also had the same fate. They chopped it down and also carried it off to the lumber yard. And the same thing with the third little tree. So they all ended up at the lumber yard. And they were all crushed because they realized their dreams were never going to come true. And they were so very, very sad. So years went by. And one day, the first little tree, a woodcutter came and pulled him out of the pile of wood, and he started cutting him up, and he ended up making him into a feed box. A feed box to feed dirty and smelly animals. And he was so crushed because that's not what he wanted, right? His dreams had not come true, and he was very, very sad. And the third little tree, the same thing. One day a woodcutter came, pulled him out of the pile of lumber, started chopping it up, and they ended up building a small sailing ship. It wasn't what he had dreamed. His dream was to be a great big ship sailing the oceans, carrying kings and people of royalty. And the third little tree, he was so depressed. The same thing happened to him. One day, a woodcutter came, pulled him out of the pile, and started chopping it up. And he realized that they were fashioning him into a cross. And he was so sad because he didn't understand why his dream had not come true. So the first little tree, one day, a family showed up, and the woman laid her baby in the feed box, and he realized that he was holding the King of Kings. Jesus Christ was laying inside of him. So his dream did come true. He was holding precious jewels. The biggest jewel of all, Jesus Christ, was sleeping soundly in him. So his dream did come true. And the second little tree, one day, he was pulled out to the river, and a man and his 12 friends got in the boat, and they started sailing down the river. And all of a sudden, a storm came on, and the 12 men were panicking, and they were saying, Jesus, help us, we're going to drown. And it was then that the second little tree realized that he was carrying, again, the King of Kings was riding in him, and he realized that his dream did come true. And the third little tree that they made into a cross, one day he found himself being dragged, and there were angry people all around, and they laid a man on him, and they started nailing his hands and his feet to his cross. And he realized right then that his dream did come true. He was holding up Jesus Christ, was crucified on him. I probably didn't do a very good job of retelling this story. I'm not very good at this. But you see, it just shows you that these little trees, okay, they all had big and mighty aspirations. The first one wanted to be a beautiful treasure chest to hold precious jewels. And that's what happened. Little Jesus Christ was laid in him. And the second one, all he wanted to do was to be a big ship to sail oceans, to carry kings across the ocean. And he realized his dream did come true because Jesus Christ used that vessel to pull out into the waters. So his dream did come true. And the third little cross, that all he wanted to do was stay where he was at the top of the hill, standing tall and proud, so that when people would look up at him, they would look straight up and see Christ. And that is exactly what happened. They nailed Jesus Christ to him, and people did look up, and they were seeing Jesus Christ crucified. So their dreams did come true. And you know, that's just to show you how sometimes God has to tear us down to build us back up. And I hope you enjoyed this little story that I told you. I'm not a professional storyteller, but when I read that little story, it touched me right in here. I get emotional. I don't know why. Whenever I talk about God or anything like that, I get choked up, okay? And I can't help it. My eyes get watery. I want to cry. So when I read the little story, the message just touched my heart, and I said, I want to share that story with my viewers because maybe they will enjoy it. The book is called, the story I was looking at up, make sure I am telling you the right name. The Story of the Three Trees, and it's sold on the internet, like on Amazon and things like that. I've seen them. I've seen the book posted for like $9, even less if it's used. So that's a beautiful story to read to your children when you're putting them to sleep, or even just you know, reading it. It's a beautiful story. So I hope I did the story justice, okay? Like I said, I'm not a professional storyteller. I'm more of a professional crier, okay? Because it seems every time I talk about Christ, I want to cry. Thank you again for stopping by. Thank you for supporting the ministry. By watching this video, you may not realize it. You're supporting us. And if you watch the commercials, okay, you're supporting us. I've been criticized for all the commercials that appear on our videos. I have little control over that, okay? I monetize the videos to try and generate a little income for the homeless ministry. I started monetizing my videos about 1.5 years ago. And you know, up until today, I have yet to get any money from YouTube. Why? Because YouTube will not cut a check to us until we have generated at least $100 of viewer time. I don't think that's how you say it. $100 worth of commercial viewing. I don't know how to explain it. But until that happens, they will not cut a check to us. And the reason why we haven't gotten a check is because we have very few subscribers, very few people that watch our videos, and a lot of them just click past the commercials. And I understand nobody likes watching commercials, right? I don't even like watching commercials on some of these YouTube channels. But by doing it, by watching the commercials and not fast forwarding, you're helping us, okay? So think about that, okay? And hopefully one day soon I'll get a beautiful surprise in the mail and I'll get a check from YouTube. But until then, I'm still here posting videos even though I have yet to see any money generated from my videos. So that's how you can help us out, by watching the videos. So, okay, I think I've talked enough. And like I said, remember, sometimes God has to break us down in order to build us back up. So, thank you for stopping by. Come back and visit with us. I try to post something twice a week if I'm able to. I have a homeless ministry that I run, and I don't always have the time available to create content. Lastly, what I always say to you guys, okay? And if you take anything away from this video, let it be this. I want you to know, look, here I am getting choked up again, okay? Professional crier here. If you're going to take anything away from this video, make it this. I want you to know that God loves you very, very much, okay? Don't ever forget that. Don't ever doubt God's love for you, okay? Come back and visit with us, okay? The story of the 3 trees. All right, sweetie. Bye-bye. Stay safe. Stay blessed, okay?